right, a very good morning to you. It's good to see you right here on Your World. And based on what you have seen, that's sort of like a preamble of what we're going to talk about this morning, and that is on Relationship Tuesday. And it's all about jealousy in relationships, okay? But with a special emphasis on the complex relationship between mothers-in-laws and daughters-in-laws. But most importantly, the biggest question that we're asking today is, what role does the son play in terms of making sure there's a bit of, harmony between these two very beautiful, strong women who love their son, okay? Their son and the husband, in this case, for the daughter-in-law. It's going to be an amazing conversation. We just want to understand, what's this relationship like? Why is it always that mothers-in-laws, some have been termed to be mothers-in-laws from hell, and how then can we improve that relationship? Okay, so feel free to interact with us on our socials, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie. But again, if you want to call in live and maybe share your experience or ask a question, my panel is already here, very able panel to answer all your questions. So the numbers are down on your screen, but also feel free to use our WhatsApp number 0112-500-400. Get in touch with us, ask your question, maybe share your story as well. But if you also have a good mother-in-law, feel free to also share that, so that we, encourage as many people who are not married that listen, not all mothers-in-laws are not good, and not all daughters-in-laws are not good, and vice versa. Okay, so my panel is already here, but before I introduce them, a question for you this morning is jealousy a sign of love or insecurity? Okay, is jealousy a sign of love or insecurity? That is the question that we're asking you this morning right here on Relationship Tuesday. There you have it. Again, like I said, interact with us on our socials, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X as well. And I can see a number of you have a lot to say, okay? And if I can just sample one before I introduce my panel. So this is Mark Kinyua on Facebook, who says, jealousy is generally considered a sign of insecurity rather than love, as it stems from a fear of losing someone or a feeling of inadequacy rather than deep trusting affection. While experiencing a little jealousy in a relationship can be normal, excessive jealousy often points to underlying insecurities that can be detrimental to the relationship. All right, so again, keep sending your views. We'll be sampling them as we continue with the show. But my guests, like I say, they are already here. On my immediate left is Professor Owuor Olunga, who's an anthropologist from the University of Nairobi. Good to see you this morning, Prof. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Winnie, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I have not seen you.
No.
The last time you were here was last year. So good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for making the time. We also have Teresia Wangui Buthia, who, in this case, I want to say she's an ex-daughter-in-law. How are you, Terry?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you. You look lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, first of all, for agreeing to come and share your story with us, because it's such a powerful story of resilience and hope and picking yourself up again. And here you are today. Healed, right? Am I still in the process?
I'm healed. I'm healed.
Ah, you're healed. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. So thank you so much for the time, Terry. And we also have Pastor Patrick Masiga, who's a relationship and marriage mentor. Good to have you this morning.
Good to have you too here.
Thank you so much for making the time. How are you doing?
I'm fine, I'm fine.
First time right here on Your World, right?
Yeah, this
Together
is
with
the first time.
Terry. I hope you're feeling home.
Yeah, we are already comfortable at home.
Okay, let's start with you,
Yes.
Pastor, right?
Yes.
Mothers. Before we even talk about mother-son relationship, let's understand, first of all, mothers and the role they play and how significant they are in our lives. And then now we'll dissect, the mother-son relationship, before we even talk about daughters-in-laws.
Okay. Mothers play a big role towards bringing up their children. And they do have a special attachment to the sons.
Especially,
more than the daughters. It's vice versa. Fathers have got a special place in their daughters more than their sons. So mothers play a big role in mentoring, nurturing, and also offering direction, and also just trying to teach their sons about love, love and the ethics of life.
And life, generally,
exactly.
right?
Yes, exactly.
All right. And Prof, so mother-son relationship, can we understand this dynamic? And then maybe we would understand why sometimes it's difficult when we have this beautiful woman, in the name of a daughter-in-law coming in, and, some mothers feel like they're tearing apart a part of their heart when it comes to their son. But can we understand that dynamic, really?
Thank you, Winnie. Let's start from the basics. Okay. The basic is consanguinity and affinity.
All right.
A consanguine is somebody related to you by blood.
Okay.
An affine is somebody related to you by marriage.
All right.
So a lot of time we put a lot of emphasis on biology. And therefore, the issue of biology is central to this arrangement.
All right.
So the mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, the mother-in-law believes that the son has her blood flowing in his veins.
Okay.
And therefore, the wife to the son is an alien person.
Sure.
He's a stranger.
Literally, yes.
He just met the person recently. So the issue of who between the two must be chosen becomes very conjectural.
Yeah.
But more importantly, is a question of control of resources and in security that crops in on the basis of how long have we stuck together and who then is coming into this relationship to disturb the equilibrium.
Okay.
So a lot of times is our ability to understand the nature of the balance. To downplay consanguinal, meaning blood relation, and affinal, which is both relations.
Okay.
So it all depends on where you fit in the spectrum.
In this spectrum.
And more importantly, if it's cross-cultural, it's even worse.
It's even worse.
Because you come in with a baggage based on speculative stereotypes.
Yes.
That then becomes more difficult to appreciate and understand. Let me give just one example.
Sure.
A friend of mine from Luo wanted to marry a girl from Luo community.
Okay.
So he went home with a girl. And the mother-in-law, or the potential mother-in-law, was very negative from the word go. She was very clear, if you must marry, I want you to marry
from our community.
From our community.
Okay.
So
why is that? Why is that? Like, is it like a sense of safety?
Let me just finish this and then we'll see the safety.
All right.
So the guy was very devastatingly disappointed. So he came back to Nairobi with the girl and then came and asked me, Olunga, what do you think about this? He said, I love Florence so much. I said, okay. So what do I do with my mother? Because she's basically very negative. A year later, I told him, do this. Do you have some 20,000 shillings to spare? He said, yes. You go to Kisumu, spend in Kisumu, do some shopping worth 10,000, and give Florence 10,000. Let her go to your mom, but let her tell her that she's never seen you. Since you left home, you've never seen each other. In fact, she's wondering what could have happened. Because your son just changed. So she went home with her shopping, spent a night, didn't give the 10,000, but made food very nicely. Tomorrow, she said she was now leaving. Then said, Mommy, I also brought you this.
For you.
Remember, the son had never given the mother 10,000 directly. And remember, the money is coming from the son. Anyway. Do you know what the mother-in-law did?
What happened?
She asked the lady, do you have his number? The lady said, yes. Have you ever talked to him? Said, I told you. Since we left, you know, the mother-in-law knows very well. She was the cause of the division.
The separation.
So she's feeling, oh my God,
what
I'm leaving a jewel to
go.
So he called the son and said, my son, Florence is here. And I want to let you know that if you don't marry this girl, you will never get another one like this one. So is it jealousy? Or is it So sometimes we push a narrative of jealousy, but the whole notion is misunderstanding based on somebody occupying a space that have been comfortably in.
You know, Prof, what I usually wonder is, so this mother-in-law, I mean, at some point, not on some point, they're someone's daughter, right? Yes. And they got married to someone's son.
Correct.
And I'm pretty sure the mother-in-law of you know, the mother-in-law was, yes, a little bit worried, like they're taking away my son and all those things. Like, shouldn't that sort of like prepare you that at some point, your son will also marry and they will introduce someone into the family? Like, shouldn't, because you went through more or less
I've just been telling Wangui that when you get into Form 1, you're bullied.
True.
Then you promise yourself to never subject anybody to this. Then what happens? The following year, you're bullying somebody.
To have a taste of what
you see, the world is a stage. And we're all actors. So when the curtain closes, you leave the scene. But you come back again.
You come back again.
In a different role.
That is
so today, you're a daughter-in-law. Being subjected to all manners of things, mother-in-law from hell and what have you. Tomorrow, you're the mother-in-law.
You're the mother-in-law.
So again, it all depends on the personality of the people involved. And by the way, the son here is a constant variable. And this should be very important.
And let me tell you, Prof, we'll actually come back then to understand what role does the son play, because, and from Terry's story, which we'll hear as we continue, at some point, the son actually sided with the mom and said, Mom knows best, right? But before we talk about that, so 3 children. You're separated. You met a guy. He fell in love, and you got married within 6 months. I want to believe.
Yeah, it was
dating.
around 8 months.
8 months of dating. So I want to do, because your story is very long and
it's long.
So comparing to when you were dating and when you got into the house, you're now a married couple, and I was listening to your story, and you said he changed and became a totally different person. Can we pick up from there? Yeah.
Okay, by the time we met with this guy, I was in the church, and I can say I cannot blame him 100% because even myself, I had a role to play that time. Because when I was getting married, I didn't take time. I didn't take time to understand this person, to know his personality. Whatever I was looking for is wearing a gown. That is what I can say.
The wedding.
My friends were getting married. So I wanted to follow the suit. So the guy that came to me came with all the offers. You want a wedding? Yes. You want to take a dowry to my... Yes. Everything was yes, yes, yes. But I didn't take time just to know the personality of this person. And everything happened because we met with this guy at January, and by August, everything had happened. But in between the arrangements of the wedding, there were so many challenges because one thing, I was not accepted in that family.
From the word go.
From the word
Was
go.
it cross-cultural?
No.
No.
Okay. Same community.
It was the same community.
Okay.
But the father-in-law is the one who started with a lot of... I don't know, he did not like me from Nyeri and from Kiambu. So the mother was, the father was like, we cannot marry somebody from Nyeri. And he stood with that. Until to an extent, we did that wedding and the father-in-law did not participate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then I got married to this guy. And you see, since from the word go, when we were planning the wedding, it was not very smooth because he's passing through stress. Maybe he needs money, he needs what. So I did not take time even to interact or even to go for an outing somewhere and just learn about this person. So we just did the wedding.
All right. And the mother-in-law was like, how was she? Because it's very interesting. Most of the times, usually fathers-in-law who are very more accepting. Mothers-in-law, yes, might take a little bit of time. Some might get there, some might never ever get to that point of acceptance. But for your case, it was the father-in-law. But so father-in-law. And your mother-in-law?
The mother-in-law was very quiet. In fact, I didn't know her that much. We did not interact even before I did the wedding. So after we entered in the house, now after the wedding, that is the time now I started seeing the true character of this man. Because he was very harsh on me. And I remember that time I was very naive because maybe you were not, you had not had another experience in marriage
before.
Or even getting a pregnancy. And that time I remember after my honeymoon, I got my first pregnancy. And I started facing the challenges of vomiting and everything. And that's when I knew the true characters of this man. He would abuse me. He would chase me away. He would force me to cook even when I'm having
that you're ill, like you're not feeling well.
And I'm not feeling well. He would just have an attitude that was not very suitable for me. And I used to cry a lot. Because even sometimes he would just go away and maybe you don't have even food in the house. Because I remember the job that I was doing that time. I could not be able to continue because it was involving me physically. So I was not able to continue. So you are in the house, you don't have money. This guy has left. When you ask for money, it is a problem. You know the cravings that somebody usually have when you are pregnant. They was too much for me. So this time I am facing these challenges and I have done a very beautiful wedding. I was a church girl, a praise and worship. So I would just do my mathematics and see I cannot stand the shame of moving out of this marriage.
Oh, you want to protect.
I want to protect. I cannot even share with anyone whatever I'm going through in the house. Sometimes this man would just insult me in the morning for like 30 minutes just because I said I am weak. I don't feel like I'm going to church today. But it's like when he was marrying me, it's like a trophy. He wants to show off with you.
Okay. All right.
So if you say you're not going to church, he does not feel well because now he is not ready to answer these questions, but he knows he has contributed to whatever you're going through.
Can you put a pause there? I want to bring in Pastor in this aspect, because there's so many facets to this, and I know majority of the times in premarital counseling, there's usually that conversation around foundation and the foundation that you set before getting into marriage. And for Terry's case, like she said, there was a bit of hesitance from the in-law side from the word go. So do you want to speak a little bit on that, and then Terry will come in and pick up from it?
Okay. First of all, I've had Terry, and we thank God you are healed. Because I always say trauma sometimes is inevitable. True. But healing is a personal decision. You have to decide, I have to get out of this. I've heard her very well, and I think the marriage was rushed without her taking time to understand the upbringing or the foundation of maybe the husband or where she was getting married to. I always say that marriage is not an event. It's a process.
It's a process,
we grow. Marriage grows. So many of us, or many people, they take it as an event. I want to prove a point. I've done a big wedding. But after wedding, the reality dawns. Whereby now you're meeting a stranger in your life. And it takes time for you to be compatible. It takes time for you to fuse to each other.
All right.
But now if we allow the outsiders to come and help us to fuse one another or to each other, I think there can be some cracks in that fusion.
Okay.
Yes.
But is there like a specific time? Because I've heard other people's stories where 3 months in, they got married and they have a solid marriage up until today. And others have courted for like 5, 6, 7 years. And within the first 6 months into the marriage, they actually separate. So is there like a specific, maybe, period of time to sort of like, quote unquote, get to know each other and even get acquainted to the in-laws, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Human beings know how to behave when they know they are being monitored.
Okay.
And maybe Reverend Sunday will not disagree with me on this. So these issues of courting, getting to know each other, a lot of times they are within the purview of the ideal.
Okay.
Dating is ideal.
Yeah.
Marriage is real.
True.
So 2 things, and just look at what Terry said. Forget about the intercultural.
Yeah.
There is also intersectional issues in marriage.
Yeah.
Kiambu, Nyeri, Muranga that, Nyeri that. Even within Luo community alone.
Yeah.
You are told, oh, I come from South Nyanza, I can't marry somebody from Alego. All these are common. And they are always red flags. So unless you deal with them from the word go, like Terry's situation was a complete red flag.
Yeah.
I don't know whether there's anything beyond red. So that's something beyond red. Because he already, the father-in-law was literally up in arms.
Yeah.
But number 2, there's people we call mother sons. Even when you are dating, he can't buy a glass unless he asks the mother.
The mother.
So you find that you already have a mother's son or a father's daughter.
Yeah.
All these things happen cross-section.
They do,
Because even if the man is starting comparing you, my mom used to cook better than you. Then the father, the guy is like, my father has never beaten my mother. I'm not your father. Neither are you my mother. We are 2 different people, so we must start from a premise. So what am I saying? You're asking about stability on the basis of lack of courtship, and how does it work? The whole notion here is that a relationship that there's no communication of whatever nature does not in any way flourish. This idea of my husband is very good, he doesn't say anything. Oh, those are cool waters. They run deep.
They run deep.
You're right, you're right.
So, and number 2, Terry, one would wonder, where was your family in this? Did you share your predicament with your family? Remember, you have the family of orientation and that of procreation. So where you grew up, that's your mom, your dad, your sisters, you must have shared with them this. Number 2, you must have also have some kind of social network within the church itself, who probably even knew both of you. Number 3, how did you meet? Was it romantic love, or was it some go-between? A girlfriend of yours introduced you to this guy? So this again becomes there are notions of stability that are provided by society, like go-betweens who are very fundamental in traditional marriages.
Yes,
Because then they Googled you, of course.
And then your family
Google.
understand where you come from.
Absolutely. They Googled both families. They understood the aspects of wants and don'ts and do's on either side. And fundamentally, then they brought in some stability that may not be there from the word go. Number 3, and this is the worst part.
Okay.
To men, and the pastor has just alluded to it, marriage seems to be a destination to be arrived at. To women, marriage is a journey to be traveled. So you see, the moment you have a baby, I'm arrived. I'm now a father. And why should I quote you father? You are here.
Some actually say, so you wanted the rings, you got the rings. You wanted the gowns, you got the gowns. What else do you want?
So the real issue. So at that level, men tend to pursue women more elaborately, spend more money on them when they want them. But once they have arrived, it's now your turn to do the opposite. So it is an understand. I don't know how many pastors tell women this, or when you're counseling couples, you don't want to go on uncharted waters. So it has to be a situation where if me and Winnie are getting to a relationship, I will do my every best. I will put my very best, including my best clothing, when I'm meeting her. Then she will have to play hard, because that's how society expects her to be. Play hard, a little hard. Even if she wants me, play a little hard.
I mean,
But when she's already in, it's now me to play hard.
Right.
So these are realities that we need to understand as we get into marriage.
I see that. And Terry, and to pick from what Prof said, with your family, because you said this is what you always wanted, and sort of like quote, you got it, and you wanted to protect it out of shame, not because you want to bring everybody else inside, but you were ashamed that I'm in church, I did a big wedding, and so how do I go back to my parents and say this and this and this is what is happening? But also at the same time, so you said you sort of like did not have that relationship with your mother-in-law even before you got married, you know, because it was a bit distant. So when you were going through all this, did you at some point maybe like try to speak to her just to get to understand where she's at, you know, and letting her know what exactly is happening with her son and with you in that marriage?
The mother-in-law now?
Yeah.
Okay, you see, now the mother-in-law came in after now I gave birth to my first boy.
All right.
And that's when she started appearing and trying, like, she's trying to show you on how you can bring up your baby.
Okay.
But every little mistake that you make, it will be reported to the son.
Okay.
And now the son, instead of standing with me, he would stand with the mother.
Was she living with you people?
You see, the mother could leave her place and come stay in your house.
Anytime?
Anytime. She would even stay for like even 1 year in your house.
Wow. Okay.
So she's monitoring everything that you are doing. Like now when you cook ugali, the sufuria that cooks ugali is a bit, it is hard. So you must put water in it, give it some time, so that now you can even let it just stay there. Like you wash it in the morning.
And then wash it off.
That one is a big deal. You are dirty. That's why my son is complaining. Such things. So she would come in a very negative manner to me, to an extent you see like it is not even the mistakes that you are making. It seems like this thing is deep inside her.
Okay.
It's like from the word go. This person did not accept you.
All right.
So if somebody wants to show you a bad side, even if you try to do good, how much?
It doesn't, it
cannot make sense to this person. So I tried to be the best. If I see this one is a mistake to them, if I see yesterday maybe I did not cook good food for them, I try the next day, I'll do it better, but it will still not be good to them.
It will still be a problem.
So I gave out myself so much.
Would she cook?
She cannot. She cannot. So it is me. And sometimes I would cook food and she would put water in it.
In your food?
Water from the dispenser. You put it in the food and you say that the salt is excess. But all of us have eaten that food.
The same food and nobody else has complained.
Nobody else has complained. So you feel like this woman is after something else, not even the food that you're cooking.
Yeah.
Even the baby now, you see, the baby is small. Sometimes I'm in the kitchen and the baby would cry in the bedroom. So she has no boundaries. She would go even into your bedroom and you find her sleeping on your bed.
No.
Yeah.
But
Playing with the baby now.
No, is that culturally acceptable?
It
from
is
your
not
community?
acceptable. It is no.
she crossed the boundaries.
But you cannot tell her. If I try to say anything like this, she will come and report me to the son. The son was very tough, and I used to fear. You know, the first intimidation that I got when I got married, it entered in me.
Yeah.
You
So-
married a soldier.
So later, I could not say anything.
Yeah.
And there are these people who are so argumentative to an extent that you cannot win an argument with them. So the best thing I was doing is just keep quiet.
Just keep quiet.
Just keep quiet.
I am so sorry.
But
yeah, go ahead and then we'll bring in Pastor in this session.
So those negatives were too much and every mistake was on me.
Yeah.
But it is something that now started bringing my personality backwards. I started hating myself.
Oh no.
I started seeing like giving birth is like a disgrace because there is that joy that comes in when somebody gives birth, but you are not celebrated at all.
Yeah.
So this thing just kept on bringing me back. So I am staying in the house. The mother-in-law is there. You feel like she has disgusted you, but she cannot come out of your house.
Yeah.
So the son is not standing with you.
Yeah, and even the things that she was doing, abusing you, you know, and treating you in this way. So the son is seeing all those things.
Yeah, he's seeing. Yeah.
Did you try to say, like, voice it and say, hey, listen, please help. This and this and this is happening. In as much as, yes, he can see, but it coming from you that I am not okay. Your mom is not treating me well. Did you try to voice it?
In fact, I used to say that when we are in the bedroom.
Okay.
Because I cannot say it before the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Because I was just comparing. I was asking him now, if at all I can bring my mother and also your mother in this house, how can we stay? Why don't, if a mother comes to pay us a visit, it should be a limited time and then she goes back to her place.
Teddy, was he the only son?
I think he was the last born among the sons. And it's like, in all the sons, maybe he was the one who was looking like he's doing well in life.
And also the closest to the mom, right?
Yeah, close.
Okay. So Pasi, so understanding this then, I mean, understanding, yes, that bond that the son has with the mom, but also with boundaries that the mom understanding, listen, in as much as we have this bond with my son, but he's also bonded, with his wife. Do you want to speak on that just a little bit before we go on a break?
Yeah, please. There's something that we need to understand here. Mothers have got a special role in their sons, and that cannot be taken away. Also, the wife has a special role on the husband, and that cannot be taken away. A man cannot take, a woman cannot take away a place of the mother, and the mother cannot take away the place of the wife.
Yeah.
So I think some of us, if maybe brought up the son single-handedly, maybe she was never married, or maybe she was a second wife, because also foundations also matter. The behaviors of the mother-in-law to the son, that bonding, that upbringing, it matters a lot. So in some scenarios, you realize that the mothers-in-laws, they had a very strong bonding with their sons, maybe because the mother thought this is the only mother I have in this world. Maybe the husband left or died, or maybe she was a second wife. So that
there,
bonding,
but it's not there.
Exactly. And then also number two, if she really contributed to the coming of this boy, maybe taking the kid to school, the boy to school, doing everything, career-wise, she was there. Actually, I will tell you for free, she will end up being manipulative because she feels like she contributed too much.
Here's a mother with many sons.
So I think maybe
and even the husband is there.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I think maybe the issue of being the last born. You know, last borns are tended to be anabaki nyumbani. She's there with the mother. And sometimes women can want to find that one boy whom she can be atabond naye sana more than the others.
Yes.
Exactly. So
She wasn't.
Bonded more than the rest.
So when this boy goes now to marry, the mother will want to follow up. She'll want to be everything in the life of this man.
And remember, he was more resourceful.
Exactly.
Yes.
And also, the mothers, when they see their sons are successful in one or the other, they'll want to do a background checkup of the lady he's marrying. Academical checkup, alisoma mpaka wapi. Number 2, financially, is she working? Is she earning?
Contributing.
Exactly. So most of them, they always feel like, huyu anakuja tu kuchukua. She's only coming to take from my son.
Okay.
All right. So those things can contribute now manipulative jealousy.
Yes.
Exactly. So she'll want to manipulate the son because she has got some goodies to take from the son. I remember what Bro has said. He gave out a story whereby kijana aliambia the wife, chukua hii pesa upeleke.
Like, isn't that sort of like bribing your way into this situation,
most
right?
mothers-in-laws,
let
me tell you for free,
is
bribe.
If their daughters can give them money, it is settled.
It is. Okay, let's take a break, but then when we come back, we'll pick up from there. In terms of,
it's about money.
Then that's, to me, it's not like you like me because you like me. You like me because I'm giving you something. But what if it gets to a point where sina yakupatia, then what happens
to that? You are taking care of part of my insecurity.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's about
okay. Ego kidogo bembeleza. Okay, listen. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll pick from that aspect of then what role does the son play in this scenario to make sure that at least there's harmony between these two beautiful, strong women that he loves the most, and that is the wife and the mother as well. All right. But if you have a question for us, feel free to do so. The numbers are down on your screen. Here's our WhatsApp number as well: 0112 500 400, and ask any question that you have. If you want to share your experience, feel free to do so. But also remember the question that we're asking you this morning, and that is jealousy a sign of love or insecurity? Okay, and if you can sample just one. So Pascal Kide says you can never tell which is which until you are in one of the situation. It seems the same, but it's different how it comes out. Okay, and then Gordon Odembo says insecurity of the highest order. And then Ken Amaya still on Facebook says your love iko wapi? Okay. And then someone else says it's a sign of fear of competition, and this is Nyakwar Migoya. So keep sending your views on our socials, and also give us a call. All right, we'll see you on the other side of the break. Still so much to discuss as far as the complex relationship between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. See you after the break. All right, welcome back. Of course, the discussion still continues even during the break. But the show is Your World on this Relationship Tuesday, where we always talk about all matters relationship, whether it's romantic, whether it's like family, whether it's workplaces, friends, all matters relationship. Okay, but today we're taking a very special emphasis on the complex relationship between mothers-in-laws and daughters-in-laws, and we're trying to understand why is there always some sort of like rift, okay, between these two beautiful, wonderful women who have someone in common, and that is the son or the husband, in this case for the daughter-in-law. And is there a possibility that they can actually live together in harmony and just be healthy and develop a healthy relationship? That's the question that we're asking this morning. And what we have for you is jealousy a sign of love or insecurity? That is what we're asking you today. And again, our lines are officially open. The numbers are down on your screen, and use our WhatsApp number as well to get in touch with us. Terry, before I speak to you, there's a question that someone has asked on Facebook. This is Luda Kimtai, who says, why do sons-in-laws and fathers-in-laws get along so well? And it's a worldwide thing, eh? But now when it comes to mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, there's a bit of a rift. Prof, do you want to take that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think number one, let's start from the Freudian concept of Oedipus and Electra complexes.
Okay.
The excessive love that the daughter has for the father or the son has for the mother.
For the mom, yeah.
So unless that is dealt with, and depending, like Pastor says, depending on who was available in the life of each of the kids, that could be problematic. But let's come to the issue of father-in-law, son-in-law.
And sons-in-law.
Remember, you're birds of a feather. You happen to be birds of a feather.
Okay.
And a lot of time you find even your father-in-law can tell you, oh, my friend, if my daughter behaves like the mother, you are in trouble. So already there's some kind of comradeship on the basis of a species sharing their predicament. So there's that possibility. The problem comes in when you are married, like Terry says, is the father's daughter. Because the father then may not be able to badmouth the wife and put the daughter as part of it because the love between them is so close. Number two, remember, there are marriages that the father does not even want to release the daughter and the mother does not want to release the son. So you're already starting from the premise that I wanted to hold on to him. If I had an option, he wouldn't have married at all. Now third, remember, most mothers would want you to marry a woman chosen to you by them.
By them, yes. Remember Terry said at some point, the mother, the son said, my mother knows best. Why?
So this idea of the woman chosen to you by them is the continuation of control. Look at it in Luo community previously. A woman would marry many wives. But most of those second, third, fourth wives were determined by the first wife.
You are right.
So remember, the jealousy is reduced in the sense that after all is me
it's
suggesting
me
to
you.
And most of the time, those second, third will be related to the first wife. So she becomes the mother queen. So the more other women you marry, it enhances her control. So she's over here. So the jealousy is dealt with because the insecurity is also taken care of. Now the father-in-law, son-in-law relationship is predicated on the species, male species, our understanding, our common bond, our common suffering. So if it's like what happened to me, I would then tell you because I have experience to let you know how to handle it.
But why can't that then be the same with mothers and daughters-in-laws then?
No, that then will happen with your mother. Now, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, remember, let's start from the Oedipus complex.
All right.
So you're coming in from a point of a relationship that it was more impact. So you are coming to destabilize a stable environment. Remember, a lot of times, sons even sending money to the mothers is more common than to the fathers. The fathers become they only share from what the mothers will want to be shared.
Prof, can we have a call on the line and then we'll come pick up from there. All right, so Peter from Moranga, good morning. Peter, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for calling us this morning. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because the lady vile anaongea hapo, I have the same character of this husband.
Okay.
Because now, yes, we got married 2020. Na tulijuana na yeye for 3 months. Mtoto alikuja katikati. So mimi nikamwambia tu akuje. Tuketi chini tuongea after sasa nimepata mimba yangu. Later on akakuja after like 2 weeks. Tukakaa, I involved my parents na wazazi wake. Waka accept, but I was not ready to get married at that time. So vile tuliketi tukaongea, tukaplan wacha mtoto amezaliwa for 1 year, then we will let our parents to advise us what next. Me, I was surprised. Our parents walitupea blessings tuoane.
Oh, the parents walikataa?
No, walitupea blessings.
Oh, waliwapatia blessing. Okay, so parents from both sides?
Yes.
Okay.
I was 26 and my wife was 19.
Okay. All right.
So I was confused. Sikuwa najielewa, sikuwa najua kitu. So vile the madam anasema hapo, the man was abusive. Kama hiyo kuosha vyombo, hata kama amechoka mtu unaona how comes hataki kufanya kazi, na mimi nilikuwa na mama yangu akifanya hata kama akiwa hivyo. So sometimes you find wanaume tunakuwa misjudged because ile umelelewa na mzazi unaileta kwa the other now partner.
unataka yeye behave kama vile mzazi wako, like
Yes,
your mom in
yes.
this case. Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and then from now, friends, you have that pressure. You have married someone who's not learned of your level. For me, it was a bit challenging. Even right now, it's a challenge. Because the experience in Nilimpea at the beginning, as much as I tried to be a good man to her, she still, okay, she loves me, but I couldn't walk her. I can, naweza tena muumiza. So my question was, how can I assure her that I love her, so that we can be able to live in a harmonious way? Because I've tried.
I see.
Like, yes.
Okay, akona hiyo fear bado, but you nasema unampenda. All right, Pasi, do you want to take that very quickly?
Yeah, I think some of the mistakes also people make when they want to enter into marriage, they always want to enter into a marriage because what is that? I always say even married people wanaza kwa barabara, but they don't get married. So the issue of sasa huyu amenizalia mtoto, sasa I have to marry her. I think at the end of the day, it can work or it might not work, based with how they will fuse one to each other.
Because Peter says he wasn't ready.
Yeah, he wasn't ready. And also marriage is something that a man should make a decision. I want to settle down in marriage. And that decision should not be dictated by the parents. Even the Bible says a man shall leave his parents. A lady shall leave their parents. Then they come together. Why did the Bible say so? The Bible knew if you don't leave them, you bring them in your marriage, there will be movies, there will be sarcasm, there will be comedy, there will be everything. So if you want to live harmoniously well, in peace, I think, I'm not saying wazazi watengwe. I'm only saying ya kwamba wasihusishwe kwa masuala ya indoa. Because in any marriage, whether you like it or not, there'll be issues, there'll be challenges, there'll be weaknesses. So these mother-in-laws who you are saying they might be sound, I mean, we can say they're from hell. I think when they come in the marriage, they come with so many baggage. They want to control, they want to manipulate, they want to hold on to their sons. So it's important, at least vijana ambao wanaoa, let them first of all decide I want to marry.
And for Peter's case, he says the parents will opatia blessings. It's just that, you know, the challenges of the first few months in the relationship. Now the lady, bado kuna ile woga that Peter will harm her. And Peter is like, but I love her, so how do I...
He has concluded the story by saying, I was not ready.
But Pastor, the generation today, I don't know at what level would you say the boy is ready. The generation today, I don't know when you interact with them more closely.
I do interact with
like
this generation today. We are having a challenge. The men don't want to marry because they fear they don't have the money. And also the ladies who are getting married, they also want a stable man who is financially stable to take care of the hair, the food, everything. So today's not like all the days whereby you begin from scratch. Ladies want someone who is somewhere driving class, all kind of stuff, and they're not there. If you find a driving man, he's either married, right? And you see everything.
Or he's a senior bachelor.
Okay, and the men now also something else also is doing a harm to them from not getting married is the competition. This girl is of high class. How they bring her to a single?
They're empowered. Okay, all right.
We need Peter.
Peter very quickly, because I can see our time is going, and Terry needs to finish.
My advice to Peter is, now that your parents blessed the marriage on either side of the aisle, please bring them closer as part of your counselors.
All right.
Number two, your wife seems very young, 19, you're 26. So again, she may not have the confidence to talk to you more often. Have a slightly more open communication with her. Understand her insecurities, and where possible, talk about it in a non-threatening manner. Go out with her and then check on what she wants.
Give her that assurance.
Give her that assurance constantly. And if possible, tell the pastor, if you go to church, her worries, so that the pastor can talk to both of you based on her worries that are internal. I think that could
absolutely validate what she's feeling, but also tell her this is who I am now, a changed man. Okay, so Terry, there's so much to your story. But so this continued in for a while. So your first baby, your second baby, and your third baby. So many things happened, in between. You said in your story that at some point you decided, you know what, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
And then the mother-in-law, your mother-in-law now, moved in with your then husband.
No,
Yeah.
she was there.
She
She was
remained
in the house.
Okay.
And all these negatives were so much, were too many. And I felt that enough
You
is
can't
enough.
take it anymore.
You see, one thing that gives a woman power is money. If at all you don't have money, you don't have a say. And I remember, let me just
Sure, go back.
go
Yeah,
back
yeah.
that story. And when I entered in that marriage, you see, I left the job, so I was not working.
Yeah.
So as the way Pastor is saying, many men are fearing responsibilities. You see, when a man sees you in the house and you are not providing, it becomes a challenge, a challenge to him. So I saw like this provision and everything, why don't I work for myself and get my own money?
Okay.
So when my first baby was 8 months, I started working. Then after I started working, I worked for like 3 years because 4 years because I stayed in that marriage for like 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
So I saw like the 4 years that I survived in that marriage was because I had money.
Okay.
I had money. But
Resources were a big factor in this case. Can we put a pause over there? We have a call on the line and then we'll come back and pick from there. Okay, we have Sylvia from Vihiga. Good morning, Sylvia.
Morning.
Thank you so much for calling us this morning. Do you have a question or a comment in regards to the topic?
Okay, I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Mi nilitoka Taifa nikakuja Vihiga. Nimeoleka kwa Waluya. So
Okay.
at first nilipokelewa vizuri. Nilikuwa na job hiyo time nikakuja. Nikakaa na matunda vizuri. Nilifungua. Madinga wakaanza maneno like siko na provide hiyo time, so akaona like mimi bado kujanani mwalimu. She's a single mom. Like bwanake alikuwa kitambo.
Okay.
So ikafikia time tukaanza maneno yaendi vizuri. Bwanangu akakuja akaniambia like naona hauendi na mamangu vizuri. Ufanye tu uende. Hiyo time mimi nililia, Madinlo akakuja akaniambia nini mbaya? Nikamwambia like kijana wako ameniambia hivi na hivi. Kumbe anasonga naye anaambia kijana wake mbona sana ashikili kwa nyumba anafanya vipi hivi. So ikafikia time Madinlo akaanza kuniambia like unaona wewe nimekupatia sana kwa hii boma. Mimi niliingia kwa hii boma nikupokelewa vizuri. So Madinlo wake alikuwa alive. Lakini hawezi salimana naye. But venye anafanyia sahi, ananifanyia venye yeye
Alifanyiwa. Okay.
Yeah, na Amadinlo.
Okay.
So sahi niko like, siwezi enda nikisalimia Madinlo wake, ananiambia Madinlo atanimalizia mtoto wangu na nisikuja kumwambia.
Okay. Mother-in-law wake ama mamake?
Madinlo wake ako alive.
Okay.
Na wangu ako yeah. Our interact.
Mother-in-law to the mother-in-law. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wao hawaendi vizuri. So mimi nilipokuja mimi sikuwa najua. Sote mwenye nilianza kwenda huko nikaanza kuambiwa like mimi napewa vitu huko na kuja kupia kijana wenyewe madawa. Nikarudi kaenda mtawi.
Okay.
So me I had to go home. Niliporudi Madinlo alipokea vizuri. Niko na ile fear juu unajua amenisema kwa watu yani hata uko tu na ile fear like maybe anything inaweza happen kwa mtoto.
Yeah. Hey. Okay. But where are you now? Are you still there? Ama ulienda nyumbani? I didn't get that part.
Ulirudi.
Ulirudi nyumbani?
Niko hapa tu na
alafu
na hivi. Like my mother-in-law nikifungua tu mlango ako hapo, yani anamonitor tu everything anafanya. Alafu anapigia kijana.
Yeah. So, hey, thank you very much, Sylvia. But have you tried to like talk to anyone, like, you know, the son, your husband now in this case, just to understand mtaishi aje pamoja? Because now unasema ni kama you're constantly being monitored.
Yeah, nimejaribu hadi my uncles, pastor. But kila mtu ananiambia like, unajua ikiinvolve mambo na uchawi, kila mtu like anaogopa, anakwambia tu uombe tu kwa
Hey, thank you very much, Sylvia. Prof, do you wanna what does she do now? Because she's still there, bado anaishi na, you know, the mother-in-law to the mother-in-law, and all those things.
I can say something.
All right, very briefly, yes, because
I think hapa kuna shida kidogo.
Okay.
It is like huyu bwana alioa mke wa kupeleka kwa boma. Hakuoa mke okana yeye. Na hayo ni makosa ambayo yanatendeka unapooa mke kupeleka kwa boma. Kwa sababu kupeleka mke katika boma, yule mother-in-law unexpect mambo kadha wa kadha. Jambo la kwanza expect mfanyikazi. I expect mke wa kijana. I expect huyu dada mke mapema, aende shambani, apanguze compound, ampikie, hasa yule akae pale kama malkia.
Yeah.
So I think hata kama huyu dada ataweza kuwa mtu mzuri aina gani, pale kuna shida.
Ni
lazima tu apatane na mume wake, waulizane, ulinioa kuwa mke wa boma ama mke wako.
And then also she says, so the mother-in-law to the mother-in-law, they're not in good terms. Sasa yeye akiongea na the mother-in-law to the mother-in-law, the mother-in-law is not. It's very complicated.
One of the biggest problem here is cross-cultural marriages with diverse expectations. You realize that these ladies from Taita, probably they're more loving, wherever they're coming from. And then you're coming into a son of a single mother who probably the father died long time, I brought up my child, he's my everything. And here you are coming to lazy around him in the name of a wife, just like pastors put it. But more importantly, I think you did ask a question which we didn't answer. And the question is, what is the role of the son?
Of the son in this case, yes.
I think fundamentally, the son has a very, very key role to play because he's the site of contestation. It is him people are fighting against.
Exactly.
So unless he also comes out clearly and tell Mami, you're my mom, you have a right over my life, and this is my wife, her rights are this and that. So in terms of how you can share me, this is how you can share me. Instead of sharing me, why can't we have a tripatriate? Why can't we be three in this relationship? And if father is also there, let's include the father. Remember, there's also another variable that we're not talking about, the sister-in-law.
Yes, and we'll actually, you know, because our time is far much better, there's so much to also pick from Terry's story. Is it okay if we continue with the same next week, but now also figure out on the solutions part? Now, what do we do? Because we understand the nature of the relationship, then what's going to happen? But Terry, yeah, you were talking about how resources was such a big factor in this relationship. For the first 4 years, it was quote-unquote stable, but not stable.
Not
because,
very stable,
you know,
but I was working.
Money.
So I used to do my own things without asking anything from the husband. And that's the time, because I saw he's too much negative on me. So I stopped focusing on him. And I started focusing on how now I can make the marriage become stable by working on myself. And also, I remember getting kids was my choice, because I said, even if I get married to another man, still get kids. And I feel like when I move out of this marriage, maybe I will not get married again. Let me give birth to my kids, and then I'll bring them up. So in 4 years' time, my contract for the job that I was working ended. And that's where the biggest problem came from. Because now the mother-in-law is in the house. The son is the one now has to provide everything. You see, you are used to pay for your cards, medical cards, everything. And now it is up to him now to do the role. So that's where the problem came from. And they started becoming very negative about me. And I remember to some extent, I left and went home. But the son has a very good PR. So he would come, talk to my father. Now, you see, now that was a little mistake. I will rectify. Then I go back. But one day I said, this is my life. How will I keep gambling about it? With emotions, with fights, with negativity. And And I just made a decision once and for all. And I remember that time when I was in the house, I used to tell my former husband, I will leave one day. I don't know which is this day, but I will leave.
Yeah.
And he will tell me, in fact, you are late. You can leave as early as now. I don't love you. I don't care. That way. This man devalued me to an extent that he would even say it with his own mouth. And another thing that makes a man devalue you is like he's loving other women in your presence. You see, this time I am working. I have to employ a house girl in the house.
Yeah.
So you find that this guy will start having a relationship with the house help. So the house help will not respect you.
Yeah.
And you are the one who is paying this house help.
Yeah.
So it was very painful to me. And I noticed that I am not these people who are vocal. So I would keep quiet.
Yeah.
But the time that my anger is too much, I would say it. So that's the time I said I'm not.
So you would fire the house help?
Yeah, I would fire, and when I bring another one the same case happens.
Continues.
So I was like, how will I bring up even my daughter in the presence of this man?
Yeah.
Even my cousins would not even come to visit my place.
Because you're not feeling safe in your own home because you know, and all. Terry, can we put a pause there? And then is it okay if we continue now, you know, with the same next week to solve the process of healing for you and how you were able to find yourself again? Because look at you now, very beautiful, doing your thing, you know, and all those things. So if it's okay, can we continue with the same next week so we don't rush into this? And Prof as well as Pasi, please, kujeni next week, right? So that we finish this conversation. But even as we bring this to a close, someone says, this is on a WhatsApp number, says, good morning, I have a very different question on this. How should you deal with an older sister who is so much attached to the brother, your fiancé, to a point that she wants to be involved in matters in the relationship and wants to live with her brother? That is where? Okay. And actually said something on the same. And then someone else says, this is Eunice says, morning, I'm Eunice, please help here. I love and live with my husband and his parents. We see each other daily, and now it's close to 5 years. I've tried to ask him we move out, but he seems comfortable. I'm never comfortable because I need privacy, but the mother is always at my door every single day. What can I do different so that my man may agree to us moving out? And says, yes, I live with my husband. And then she continues to say, I don't even love them now. They're too much. They want to know everything that is happening in our lives, our whereabouts, and yet our bishop and pastor, it's hard. I have no friends, neither does he. We can share with no one. I can't share with my mom. She's having an underlying issues. Kitu kidogo mbaya inamham, inamoffect, and sina baba. Can we pick up from this question next week? Or Jackson, maybe like a minute, 30 seconds? Okay, right. So we'll continue with this conversation next week. We'll pick up from there, and then we'll continue with your story, Terry, because there's so much to cover, and even on the solutions and the role that the son plays in this relationship to bring harmony together. But for now, thank you so much for coming. It is not a goodbye, it's a see you next week. So keep the questions coming as well. We'll compile them and then we'll answer them next week when we finish this conversation on jealousy in relationships. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Your World on Wellness Wednesday. Goodbye for now.